Oh, welcome to the Dave It Yourself channel, the home of unique RC creations and unique RC views. And here's another example.
Hey friends, welcome on back to the Dave It Yourself channel. My name is Dave, and as you see, I still have the red apron on because we're going to be working on this project today, finally. And this project itself is one I've talked about before, and this is the E-Flite F-15 64mm EDF jet launch from an Arrma Felony 6S RC car while it races down a runway, and then I want this plane to also land on this car as it's racing down the runway. So in today's episode, we're actually going to talk about what type of materials I have available to me, because it's going to be a very Dave It Yourself project. No 3D printing or anything like that, because I don't have one. There's going to be a lot of foam, paper tape, hot glue, things of that nature, stuff that you can also have around the house most likely, or easily pick up. And then we're going to talk about what I want to do with the coloring for this plane, because I wanted to paint it to match the car. And then we're going to talk about actually my concept and the things that I want to accomplish with this particular task. Now, as I mentioned before, I do already have a little bit of this project already started, because I tried to start it during the Bigfoot event down in Birmingham, where I do have some earth magnets that were kindly donated by Sea Mafia mounted underneath the plane, as well as some mounted underneath the roof of the car. So there is actually a little bit of a magnetic adhesion that you can see going on there. Here's the magnets that I have here, and they're just kind of basically glued on there with some CA glue. And then I just covered them with paper tape, of course. And then from there, underneath the car itself, I have some of the earth magnets as well, just lined right underneath the roof here. And you can see I have the interior body of my RC car body here covered in clear Gorilla tape. The box tape type stuff, but it's the Gorilla brand. It's pretty good stuff. I like to use this or any sort of duct tape on any of my RC car bodies. It just helps them last a ton longer, especially if they're not clear where you're trying to see through them. But I have the earth magnets here, a little piece of paper tape just covering those. I have some remove some of the paper tape right here, you might be able to see. So I got some of the magnets here just with a little bit of clear tape holding them in place. But that's basically the idea. But what I think I'm going to probably want to do is build some sort of cradle system as to what's going on, because kind of like with my car bowling idea, I think I just need to be something here, definitely something here in the front with some sort of cup for that nose cone, and then something back here as well. I do not want to build a basket system or anything like that, where you like a disc golf, you just try to get the plane to land in it and boom, it's done. I want it to come out of the cradle and land back in the cradle. So that's the plan with this particular video. So if you want to see exactly how this video is going to come about, what my ideas are for this project, and what my materials are available to me to make this project happen, well, you know what I recommend you do? You stick around. Nice. All right, friends, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming on back. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what my idea is and materials-wise. So like I mentioned, I think I want to do some sort of cradle system for the front, cradle system for the rear. Speaking of that RC car bowling thing, I actually do have the exact cradle that I made out of pool noodle and hot glue that was originally on top of the what was that, the not the Rustler, I think it was the Slash, my Traxxas Slash, and it basically sat on the car similar to this, and then the bowling ball sat here, and then it rolled off, kind of thing. So something similar to this. This one specifically won't work, but I think if we were able to see, and you have a notch here that I cut in for the rear spoiler on that car. So in that type of idea, you know, something like that. Of course, this isn't going to be perfect for this plane, but if we can get some sort of cradle system going there like that, as you can see, it already sits okay-ish. And then from here, I have a nice piece of this soft, squishy foam stuff. I already have a little piece cut out of it, but it is high enough sideways to maybe make a small cradle, or if I need to make a taller cradle, which is probably what I'm thinking about, maybe cut something out in this type of shape, you know what I'm saying? And then maybe have the stock come down in a wider base, and then from there, I have a bunch of these, which you may have seen if you ever picked up furniture. They come on the sides of furniture, things like that. So I have a bunch of these, but the neat thing about these is that they're not glued together very well, so you have a bunch of squares if you need them to put in all kinds of places, or to glue into different shapes or whatever you might need, especially in some sort of bracing system or something. So got a ton of these. Also have some of this stuff that you get when you buy new batteries, this black foam stuff that you get. And a lot of times you'd want to put this in your plane to put your batteries on to help keep them sliding around if you don't use Velcro, which is probably why they put that in there. I don't know, maybe it's just a padding. But anyway, I got a ton of this, so we've got that going on. And then, of course, I still have plenty of pool noodle, but I do have a little bit of this pool noodle left, which is the star shape, which may come in handy for some sort of rails system if that's going to be necessary, since they're already pre-cut in there. And it looks like I already have this piece pre-spliced as well. So I've got that. So, moving on from there, like I said, let's move this over. And then as far as some of the other materials we're going to be using, I've got, of course, tapes. I've got a little bit of this HD clear duck tape, which is just a clear box tape, but I'm probably going to use this to cover the servos and stuff with underneath the plane, and then when I paint it, that'll be a nice smooth finish right there. Then, of course, got the yellow frog tape for the super gentle stuff, and believe it or not, there's a little bit of paper tape actually inside there as well. So I've got that, and then what we'll do is we'll do a little double duty with this frog tape container. When I take the clevises and the control rods off, we'll put them in here. So we'll do that here shortly. And then, of course, we've got some of the paints I'm going to be using. I need to go ahead and get this plane primed. I'm not going to worry so much about the decals and stuff that are already on the plane unless I can feel them, because what I'll probably end up doing is painting most of this black anyway, so you won't see a ton of that. And this is going to be more for exhibition kind of thing than anything more than showroom, although I do want it to look pretty cool. But we're going to need to start by priming it. So I've got, of course, the Rust-Oleum 2-time Ultra Cover. The big trick with any time you're painting foam planes with paint, of course, especially with the primer, is something you'll always want to do. But you want that first coat to be sprayed on, up here, so that all the alcohol residue can basically evaporate out before it hits the plane. You never want to be doing something like this. A, it's going to cause runs, and two, the alcohol itself could damage the plane based on what type of plane you're using. But if you give it a nice light coating a couple of times like this, you're fine afterwards. Then, because of course we got the Army, we're going to be using some yellow. I think this yellow comes pretty close to matching that. And then, of course, I do have some of the black here. This is going to be a flat black. This car also is in a matte finish, so I'm going to kind of try to stay with the flat kind of finishing there. May end up doing some matte. And then I also came across this, which is actually some truck bed coating. Happen to have it in my spray paint can thing. It's a brand new can, so maybe I'll put this on the bottom of the plane. Who knows if that'll help with it missing the car and landing, or maybe make a nice tacky surface on the bottom of the plane to help it land on the car. I don't know. I just found it. Maybe we'll use it. We'll see. And then, of course, had to get the Dollar General stickers, and this was quite a task to get the stickers, because apparently, I don't know if people have seen my other videos and they're just running out to get these, but I had to go to 3 different stores to get 3 stickers total. So there you go with the Army ones. Those are pretty short supply right now. Then I have some other decals that came out of my detail box. Of course, the American flag. Probably end up throwing one of those on there. Also, one of the complaints that I have with this particular plane, I'll have to take a look and see. I'm pretty sure this cockpit's the same way. But cockpit is pretty bland, and of course I'm going to want a camera inside the cockpit for this particular one, as well as cameras on the actual car itself. We're going to want to capture this from multiple angles, but I have some decals here for cockpits and stuff, so I'll just put something in there to give that camera something else to look at other than that dull gray flat dashboard. And I also have a couple of sheets as well from the EC 1500. Which also has some Army decals on there as well. And I think some of this plane is going to be yellow underneath, so we're going to probably use those Army there. Then I've got the rescue decals and the no steps and things like that on there too, as well as numbers. So we should be able to do that as well too. So I've got a couple of sheets for that. So there we go. And then, just in case, I did run across, because I do not see this stuff very often, and if you ever happen to see it, pick it up. Gorilla makes a brand that actually is better, but Scotch, I happen to pick this up, and it's just a 2-piece, but it's a 6-pound stuff tack, but it's that hard plastic Velcro type stuff, and it's clear. So this stuff is perfect if you're ever using easy lights on planes. You just leave these little clear things on the ends of your planes, and on the easy lights, you just snap them on, and after dark, you just snap them right off. So if you ever run across this stuff, this is the only one I could find. Don't know that I use it in this particular project, but I'm just telling you I bought it because it's the only one I could find. That clear, heavy-duty, plastic, snap-together Velcro stuff. That stuff's hard to find, so if you find it, get it. All right, and then of course you got the old glue gun we're going to be using here. The old tried and true dual temperature glue gun that I got at Walmart. I think I'm going to be using Gorilla Glue sticks, if I'm not mistaken. It depends on which ones I find first. And then what else do we have going on? All right, so that might be a good roundup for the materials. Yeah, I think that'll be a good roundup for the materials. Next, let's get into actually developing these materials into something that's usable. So stick around. All right, friends, so we're back. So I appreciate you coming on back. So we've got the Arrma Felony here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this foam pieces and packing and things like that I have. We're going to kind of get a concept as to what I want to do here about setting up some sort of launch and landing pad area on this and make some sort of rig out of that. So let's go ahead and concept out that a little bit. So I do have some larger sheets like these, and I think this is probably where I'll end up mounting the magnets instead of on the body itself, as this will be part of something that'll go on top of the car. So I was thinking of something maybe like, I don't know, something maybe like along this line, or maybe long ways. And I'll have these angle jobs, and since we have the fins right here, these look like they may work pretty good, maybe somewhere in here. All right, and then maybe we can come down with this and drop it into there. There we go. And then I've got a lot of these flat pieces here, so maybe we can do something like a hot glue something here. Okay. All right, and then like I said, I got more of these, so then maybe we can also do something like hot glue these into place so it kind of skirts down on the side a little bit on each side. And then we've got the front to work on here. So what we've got here is maybe something where we use one of these longer strips here, and maybe we'll drop it here. We'll drop it on the back side of where the rubber clip holders are for the body mounts. This will be basically probably the nose piece, so we'll stick this here. I don't guess it really matters just yet. We're just concepting this out. All right, and then from there, probably something like maybe one of these to tie that together, and then maybe something else like one of those, or let's see, so maybe something like that. Kind of help that out a little bit. And then, like I said, this will go here, and then maybe here in the front, something maybe like that. All right, so basic cradle idea here. Magnets will be on the bottom of here. I get all this glued together so it's one piece kind of thing. Paper tape it and strengthen it up. Obviously, get it to keep from doing that. Let's see, I forgot these pieces here. That's what I wanted to do. Put those there, those blocks. Now we're talking about more of a, here we go, maybe more of a structural hold. Let's see. Yeah, that'll go on this side. All right, so something like that, and then, like I said, glue that in place. But yeah, so something like that maybe might not be a bad start. And then from there, like I said, get it solidified into one piece, and then from there, we can use other pieces that I still have available. Like I said, I've still got a ton of these little things to use, so we may be able to use these as little bumper pads or something like that, or help get it fit in the right spot. Still going to need to obviously carve a notch into this area here, so we'll do that. I think I actually have a electric hot wire tool maybe we'll use for that. May not need it though. This doesn't need to be showroom quality. It needs to be functional. So anyway, we'll look into that here. And then of course I've got all this black foam padding stuff as well that we can add in for some additional rigidity and glue it into place. And then from there, with a system like that, really, if we can just get that solidified, glued together with some hot glue, things like that, then from there, we can basically lift it on, drop it off. It fits right in here into the air scoop back here. These two tabs on the front are sticking out on both sides, so we can easily adhere that with some electrical tape, and then hopefully the magnet system, and maybe I'll put a little Velcro or something on the bottom. Maybe that's where some of that Velcro will come in to hold this thing onto the car. And then from there, I think maybe that might be a good idea. And then that way we just pull it off afterward and race the car, But that might be cool. So that might be kind of the function that we'll look for, is do something that's a solid, actual object that we can just drop right onto the car and pull this off. So let's see about getting this thing together. So if you want to see that, I'm going to go ahead and do that probably in fast motion. So stick around for that. And here we go.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
All right, friends, so there's the basic design right there. As you can see, I've got it all glued together as one solid piece. I will go ahead and put some more hot glue on here and some paper tape, things of that nature, again, to make it a more solid piece. But I think so far, basic ideas come together pretty well. Only had to do a little cutting just to get the little front piece down there, but I think so far we're doing good. Still need to cut the notch here, of course, but let's take a look and see how we're looking. I have a bunch of bumpers. Okay, so obviously this will need to sit downwards, but, and it looks like it might need to come down almost near to here, which would be cool. I don't mind having that as an extra support down there. But I think we're looking good, even back here. I don't know if you can see that on the side so much, but this tucks in nicely right into this little cradle area here in the back. So what I'll do is I'll strengthen these up so that they can hold that jet if I can get it to land in there. Of course, have some ways to secure the front here. Probably I left this hole in the front here so I can use maybe a zip tie or a cable, small bungee cables or something of that nature. I still want to glue this strap on underneath the bottom, of course, and I have a ton of some other things and some other places to glue on. But I think so far what we're working with looks pretty good. So stick around. We're going to continue to shuffle around on this project, and we're going to move along in fast motion. All right, friends, so there we go. It looks like I do have a basic idea here for exactly what I want to do with this particular build. So pretty excited about that. Like I said, I just got to figure out a way to adhere it, but I think that should be good. I think basically the angle of the plane looks like it's probably pretty good. I want it to definitely be at a little bit of an upward slope, but not too crazy. Definitely don't want it to lift off immediately. But I think that will be a pretty good cradle system. I've got some ways to adhere it in the front here. Got some ways to adhere it right here as well, which will obviously straighten up that nose area. Have some ways to adhere it here. And then I don't know that we'll necessarily need a whole heck of a lot of way to adhere it in the back. The pad that I have underneath here does cover the magnets that are currently on the plane, so I should be able to get those in there. And then from there, I'll probably put some, like I said, something else here on the sides to help strap that down, so when it takes off, it doesn't necessarily, the magnets don't hold on to this thing. Need this to stay under the car. But at this point, I think we have a pretty basic idea as to what it is that we're going to be looking for. So what I'll do is I'll work on getting this a little bit more strengthened up and stuff, but I think this is kind of a good idea as to what I was kind of thinking of, some sort of something that we can just drop right on the car, adhere it in a few places, do the trick, and then when it's all said and done, take it off and then be good to go. So there we go. I think we've got a pretty good setup here as to what I want to do with the cradle. I'm going to go ahead and continue to work on it a little bit, just strengthen it up. Nothing too much major. Next time you see it, it will be in its finished form, ready to go. And then we're going to start in the next video. We're going to actually start on working on the plane itself and getting that bad boy painted and ready to go. But I think as far as video one and where we are right now, I think this is a pretty great stopping spot. So until next time, I am Dave. This is the Arrma Felony. This is the E-Flite F-15 64mm. And this is my current Dave-it-yourself, glue-together paper tape and foam cradle system. So until next time, we are out of here. Now.